Mark Preston, CNN's politics executive editor. Betsy McCoy is here, the former lieutenant governor of New York, who is a Trump supporter. It's always lively when Betsy stops by. And Republican strategist Tara Setmeyer, who is, you know, she's just a wallflower. She won't say how she really feels. But
I know that's not true.
No.
Thank you all for coming on this evening. Mark, I'm going to start with you. Explain what happened today when both Paul Ryan and the RNC held calls about Donald Trump.
Don, you know, we often talk about the schism that is now part of the Republican Party, where it's being fractured because of the Donald Trump candidacy as well as other factors. Well, that was on full display today when we saw Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, say in a telephone call with his fellow Republicans that he is now just going to focus on the congressional majority. So he's no longer going to go out and defend Donald Trump. He is no longer going to go out and talk about Donald Trump. And get this, he is telling them, you do what you need to do to try to win in November.
Margaret Hoover, who's a Republican strategist, says she believes that Paul Ryan is saying in this that Donald Trump can't win, and he doesn't believe that Donald Trump can win. So how are voters and down-party candidates there supposed to read these mixed messages?
Yeah, it's difficult. Paul Ryan tried to thread a really tight political needle here with his support of Donald Trump months ago. I cautioned that, you know, as a lifelong Republican and conservative, I cautioned Paul Ryan about doing this, the full-throttled embrace of Donald Trump back in May when he had concerns about it. I warned, I said, if you do this, you're going to own all of the baggage, and all of the baggage we know about and all of the baggage we don't know about that is out there once the fall comes around of Donald Trump. And then what do? This is exactly the nightmare scenario that a lot of us were concerned about. The problem right now is that Donald Trump's comments, his behavior, it's indefensible. So the Democrats are shrewdly taking those things and they're juxtaposing it with Republican candidates, and they're associating every single Republican with those comments and forcing them to say, so are you condoning sexual assault?
Okay.
And that is, it's threatening the House majority now. It was a 3% generic ballot for Democrats before. It's up to 7 now. They see the writing on the wall and they're concerned.
Before I get to Betsy, do you think that he can win? Do you think Paul Ryan believes he can't win? That's why he's saying that?
That's correct.
Okay.
The exact same thing happened in 1996 with Bob Dole, where Haley Barbour came out, and around the exact same time now, and the polls were almost identical. It was 52-38. Bill Clinton was winning, and they realized they need to protect the majority and use the same language. He said, we can't have the Democrats have a blank check, so we have to protect our majorities to balance it out. So this is
Betsy, let me guess. You think that's absolutely wrong, and you think all the people who came out, especially on Friday and Saturday, saying we can't support Donald Trump, you think they're already regretting it?
Well, I think that they confirm the impression of so many Americans that professional politicians are like rats fleeing at the first sign of trouble. And that's exactly what they were. So they may be hurt by this.
We'll first sign of trouble?
At the first sign of trouble,
Not the first sign. Like, how many times have we been here?
The beholder. But I want you to make another point, too. Because I abhor lewd and body language. I don't listen to rap music. I don't like that kind of thing. But Hillary Clinton, when she expresses...
Wait, you said rude and body rap?
Body language.
I thought you said rap music.
I did. I mentioned rap music because it's full of the F word, the P word, the B word, the A word,
I don't think anybody, listen, I got to say, I don't think anybody likes that, but those people are not running for president.
Yes, but I wanted to point something out.
Okay, go ahead.
And which is that Hillary Clinton expresses that she finds the language on that bus horrific, but in fact, she likes language like this, quote, I came to slay, bitch. When he F'd me good, I take his ass to Red Lobster.
Did she say that?
That happens to be a line from Beyonce.
Yeah, I know. That's Beyonce's
favorite performer, whom she says she idolizes and would like to imitate. So, you know what I'm saying to you? There's a lot of hypocrisy in Hillary Clinton expressing such horror.
Okay, Betsy.
Just really quick, you could flip that around and say that's hypocrisy on the part of Republicans who are now continue to embrace Donald Trump, because we were supposed to be the party of moral values, of family values, and I know I've personally spoken out against lyrics like that. I actually wrote something about it, and I've done that for years. And so how do Republicans maintain that moral high ground if they're saying, I know you are, but what am I? They're worse.
As much as I loved hearing you.
I don't like it either, but I'm questioning Hillary Clinton's sincerity.
As much as I've really liked hearing you say read those lyrics.
I had to practice it a lot.
Beyonce's lyrics.
Let me try it again because I wasn't quite sure.
I came to slay, bitch, but he asked me good as I take his ass to Red Lobster.
Again, so as much as I like hearing you say that, Hillary Clinton did not say words. Donald Trump
No,
actually
but she likes to
said
listen to him.
the word said, right. And that's
and
as my mom would say, that's a horse of another color.
And that's not advocating sexual
Here's what
assault
Hillary Clinton
either.
actually said.
Still horrible, but.
And last night he doubled down on his excuse, saying that, well, it's just locker room banter. You know what's happened today, which is so interesting, is that a lot of athletes and coaches from the NBA, from Major League Baseball, from the NFL and more, have been coming forward, tweeting. They've been saying, no, that's not what happens in our locker rooms. And I just happen to think that our athletes and our coaches know a lot more about what happens in locker rooms than Donald Trump does.
So,
All
Betsy,
the speech police.
But what are you saying? There are a lot of athletes who are coming forward saying
that she's going to tell Americans what they should say and what they shouldn't say. It's very interesting to watch Hillary Clinton redefine her campaign. It's not about boosting the economy. It's not about defeating ISIS. It's a referendum on political correctness. That's what Hillary Clinton.
But he's also talking about the same things today. He's not talking policy. He keeps going over and over this.
And the voters
don't you wish that he would?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, because he has an excellent...
An honest moment.
Why doesn't he do it?
Betsy McCoy, so why doesn't
he do it? Because I don't think he really wants to win. He's running a tabloid campaign.
Well, let's play shrink here.
No, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
He's a narcissist. He's incapable of empathy. He's running a tabloid campaign. He positioned his campaign chairman, Stephen Bannon, who wants to take down the party establishment. He revels in it. And this is what he's decided to do. This is the direction he's taking the country in. A sad state of affairs. We deserve better candidates than both of them.
One of the best lines last night was when he did say he would call for an independent special prosecutor, and here's why that's important. Hillary Clinton denied last night that she had erased those 33,000 emails after she was subpoenaed to provide them.
Erase them.
But Politico ruled her statement last night in the debate false.
It's actually where we agree.
Yes.
I don't think there's a problem with a special prosecutor, but the throwing her in jail part, threatening that she would be in jail,
he was just expressing his opinion.
Very
she said
authoritarian.
He was unfit. He said she belongs in jail. He didn't say he was going to throw her there. But the fact is,
she'd be in jail.
I'm not nearly as interested in what's going on over here. So
appointing an independent special prosecutor is the right thing to do, because so many Americans look at these fancy people like Hillary Clinton who always seem to elude the law, who don't play by the rules. That is their complaint, that the Washington establishment gets away with murder and other people who ignore
Okay, wait a minute. You said the fancy people like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, but
you don't think Donald Trump is fancy?
He hasn't ignored
he has
the
his own plane with gold-plated
I'm just saying, they don't
handles
like the idea that people in Washington get away with things that, you know, if you or I were subpoenaed to provide material to Congress and we didn't do it, we would go to jail.
I mean, that's partially.
I'm telling you,
that part of it, that aspect of it is true. That part of it is true. Except that Donald Trump is a hypocrite on a lot of these things, given the way that he uses our laws and twists them, and the fact that good for him that he's not paying federal taxes. But then don't sit there and say that
I can defend that one too.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Shocking. I want to talk about. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this particular strategy.
Then he should release his taxes like Warren Buffett.
They're having a good time over there. Betsy's going to defend whatever.
Red wine, please.
I know. But is this strategy working for him?
No, it's not working for him. And listen, there are two different arguments. We can take the Hillary Clinton argument and we can talk about all the problems that she has, because she does have problems. There's no question about it. But the Donald Trump situation right now is that he is all the auction because he's the one who's inflicting all the wounds upon himself. He could be doing 100 times better, a lot better, had he listened to some of his strategists that are a little bit more mainstream. He acknowledged last night that he's a politician. Well, he doesn't act like a politician. If he does act like a politician, he acts like a very rogue politician. The most successful politicians are those who listen to advisors who know what they're talking about, whether that is about politics or whether that's about policy. And I know a lot of people hate Washington. I get it. But there are a lot of smart people in Washington, and they are the ones that keep the government running.
Hold your horses. Mark, now I know what I wanted to ask you, because is he not listening to the people, or are we giving the people who are advising him way too much credit?
I think that he's probably listening to the people that he shouldn't be listening to, and there are people internally in there. We won't get into any names because it would put people in a difficult position.
Who on earth would say bring those 4 women from Bill Clinton?
Stephen Bannon and Boston. That's what I say, Don. He doesn't really want to win. This is about doubling down on this strategy of being a tabloid candidate and, you know, preparing for keep this brand or whatever he's going to do after the fact.
That's not helping.
How are you
not helping his brand.
How is bringing up 20-year-old sex scandals with Bill Clinton, which were you know, a shame.
Where in most cases women are seen as the victim in those cases, and Hillary Clinton will be seen.
Hillary Clinton's approval rating went up 20 percentage points during Monica Lewinsky.
Just before I came in here, a great ad about how much money working people are going to save with Donald Trump's tax plan. And I thought, I wish everybody had heard about that.
So what do you say to him, Betsy? You're a Trump surrogate. And they talked about taxes last night. He admitted in some way that he hadn't paid taxes in almost 20 years. But what do you say to him and his advisors who are saying it's okay to bring up Juanita Broderick, it's okay to bring up Paul Jones, it's okay to have them when most of America, even staunch Trump supporters, are saying, what do you say to them?
I think his feelings were hurt. I'm just expressing my viewpoint here.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to them about it. But I think his feelings were hurt that everybody, he said, I've been under assault for 48 hours from the media because of these things I said on a bus. Of course they were unforgivable, but they were so many years ago, and look what Bill Clinton did.
Okay, hold on,
Did you just say his feelings were hurt?
Yeah.
Donald Trump, Mr. Big Bad Bully billionaire from New York,
well, that's what I'm explaining. Don asked me, that's what I think is happening.
Come on, no,
she has a good point.
He was upset that he got caught and that people were abandoning him, and he had to be held accountable for his own actions, which he never takes responsibility for.
On the temperament, I'll give Mark the last word, but on the temperament thing, and you're saying your feelings are hurt. If you're the leader of the free world and your feelings are hurt, don't you just say, I'm above the fray, I'm going to move on. Like when he asked Hillary Clinton about, when he brought up the affairs of the 90s, and Hillary Clinton just moved on and turned and pivoted right to policy. Isn't that what a leader should do? I'm not just saying Hillary Clinton, instead of saying my feelings are hurt, and so I'm going to get you say, okay, well, fine, but let's talk about my tax policy.
That's why he did it.
Yeah.
He just couldn't.
I think we should give Betsy credit for telling her what she thinks.
No, she's very honest.
Very honest in that. But also it is putting aside all the other liabilities and the situations he has created for himself. That is a big liability for him, and that's why a lot of people don't think he has the temperament to be the commander-in-chief because of things like that.
I'm just worried that Hillary Clinton's tax plan was going to push us into a recession very fast, raising corporate taxes. The Fed is warned.
Probably, but if the Republicans lose the House and the Senate, you can forget about having checks and balances. And Donald Trump's reaction to what was going on, instead of taking personal responsibility, was to exploit the emotional vulnerability of those women for a political stunt.
Well, I do have to say, when you're talking about the tax policy and all that, that's where the conversation should be. Unfortunately, that's not where it is. And Betsy, that's why I like having you on. You don't take it personally. You realize this is not personal. So thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Tara, and you.